911. What's the address? 911.
My wife.
What's the matter? Tell me where you're at.
She shot herself.
Okay, take a deep breath, honey. Take a deep breath. Come on. I need you to help here.
Yeah, so just so you know, we're 60 or nigh. This guy that we're going to, retired ISP. Yeah, but he's super volatile. He's torched off rounds. He's done all kinds of shit. So we're waiting for all of us to get here to go in and be aware that it could turn into something major. Wait with him.
Get gloves? Send in medical. Yep. Central 20.
She have anything?
No heartbeat.
Lividity?
Not seeing anything.
The recordings you've just listened to provide a glimpse into the aftermath of Kendi Howard's death on February 2nd, 2021. Divorce can be an emotionally difficult experience for many, but for Kendi, a 48-year-old woman from Idaho, it wasn't something she feared. After 27 years of marriage, Kendi was ready to embrace a new chapter in her life. Her family and friends remember her as being excited and full of energy about her decision to move forward, eager to start fresh and free from the constraints of her marriage to Daniel Howard. Kendi was known for her lively and outgoing personality and had a deep love for the outdoors. She was a devoted mother to 2 children, a daughter from a previous relationship and a son she had with Dan. The couple lived in Ethel, Idaho, which is part of the Coeur d'Alene area. Kendi was taking significant steps to separate herself from Dan, a former Idaho state trooper who had become possessive and controlling. Kendi had recently made an offer on a house in Kamaya, Idaho, located 176 miles from Ethel, where she had rekindled a relationship with her high school sweetheart, Daniel Pardo. She had also resigned from the company where she had worked for 20 years. Her dream was to open an antique shop, and despite the tension escalating between her and Dan as their divorce neared, Kendi remained hopeful about her future. On January 29th, 2021, just days before her death, Kendi made a distressing call to her new boyfriend. She didn't speak, but instead left the line open so he could hear what was happening. Later, he testified that Kendi sounded distraught, and he heard strange thudding noises in the background. He immediately hung up and contacted Kendi's parents, who then called 911.
Central Dispatch, this is...
Yes. I had a call from my daughter, Kendi Howard.
Okay.
She called in a panic, and I know her husband just got home from Alaska, and they're getting a divorce, and it didn't sound very good out there.
Tell me exactly what happened.
We was in bed, and my wife just got a phone call from a and here, I'll let you tell.
I got a call from a friend that she called them and she's in a panic and then hung up, and I've been trying to call her and she won't answer. She's had trouble with him before. Dan Howard, you guys have been there before.
Okay. Are you at that location now?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
And I got a call from another friend.
Were there any weapons involved?
I don't know if he has weapons. And we've been there before because he pretended to like that, he'll kill you and take you with him before he does that. She just called her friend that was in a panic, and then the phone hung up. Give me a second, just call me. Hello? Hello? Access? It's Access? Yes. The cops are on their way. The cops are on their way. Okay? Yeah. Okay. Stay on the line with your dad. What? Stay on the line with your dad. Okay, she's calling me. She's in a pen. she asked if Dad's sick. That's a sign that she needs help.
Okay. What is she saying? What's going on?
Pardon? No.
Is she saying what's going on?
No, because he's there listening. That's why she said it. And she's crying.
Okay.
It's crazy. I told her it's not the freaking.
Okay. All right. Do you think it's been physical?
Yes.
Okay.
You guys were there last summer because they pretended to commit.
Okay. Okay. Hold on just 1 second.
I just got on the phone with cops and she said, yeah,
Is she saying anything?
she's on the phone with her dad right now.
Okay.
The police arrived at the Howard residence to conduct a welfare check. The officers noted that while Kendi appeared anxious and frightened, she seemed to find some comfort when they arrived. She packed a bag and decided to spend the night at her parents' home. Later that morning, Kendi called her boyfriend, deeply upset and in tears. She told him that she had woken up to find Dan standing over her. He was dressed in black and wearing gloves. On the floor beside her was a gun magazine, and she feared that he was about to kill her. Despite her family's pleas for her not to return to the house, Kendi insisted on going back the next day. She wanted to check on her pets and attend a scheduled eye appointment. On February 2nd, 2021, police were called again, this time by Dan Howard. After a 911 call from him, officers arriving at the scene recorded his behavior on body-worn cameras. Dan Howard claimed that Kendi had taken her own life with a handgun while in the bathtub on the second floor.
So medical's going to be
No, please, no.
Hi, guys. Huh? I honestly haven't seen it. I know what you're
No. Please don't. Just tell me it's gonna go better.
Hi, sir. Get over here.
Oh, please.
Do you need anything?
However, investigators quickly took note of Dan's behavior. Although he made loud, dramatic wailing noises, there were no physical signs of crying, such as tears or mucus. As one officer remarked, the exaggerated display of emotion seemed particularly strange coming from a former law enforcement officer and Marine. When the officers checked Kendi and confirmed there were no signs of life, they briefly discussed how to break the news to Dan.
Zach?
Yep.
Do we give him... This is a different case. So given the circumstances of him and emotions and things like that, do we want to tell him? I don't think did medical tell him that she's dead? I don't think so. Do we want to tell him or do we want to wait?
You better tell him.
Okay, I got it. Actually, you know what? You haven't done one. Let's all
Okay. Before I take pictures?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's his name? Thank you.
Stan? Hey, Dan.
Hey, Dan.
Dan? Hey, Dan, I'm Deputy Wheeler. I'm sorry to inform you, but your wife is passed, sir.
No! God damn it!
Hey, Dan? Hey, Dan? Is there anyone that we can call for you? Anyone that
It's
can...
good toast. Oh my God.
Is there anyone we can call to give you some support or anything like that? Any family that... Dan, I know this is hard, but when is the last time that you saw your wife alive? I know this is tough.
I don't know.
How long ago? Can you recall?
What time is it?
Did you call 911 when you heard the gunshot?
No.
Okay.
I didn't. Oh no.
Well, help us out with the time frame, all right?
I didn't think it was a gunshot. I was downstairs, TV going. It sounded like something hit the floor or something. I don't know.
When was the last time you saw your wife before she went to go take a bath?
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half?
Hour and a half?
Okay.
Hour and a half or something. I don't know.
Okay.
I really don't know. I'm out of it.
It's about 11:15.
Maybe 9:30.
9:30 or so?
I think.
Okay.
I don't know. It might be wrong. Oh my God.
Despite his efforts to appear innocent, investigators immediately grew suspicious of Dan Howard, knowing his history. In 2013, when he discovered Kendi had been having an affair with their neighbor, Matthew Wood, Dan's reaction was extreme. Dan threatened Matthew with an assault rifle, saying he would splatter his brains across the wall. He fired a shotgun at the roof, stole Matthew's guns and mail, and even poured syrup on his vehicles. Dan left a message on the lawn that was so large it could be seen from satellite imagery. He also sent vulgar and threatening texts to Matthew, warning him that he was lucky to still be alive and expressing a disturbing understanding of why men kill their wives. He followed Matthew around in his patrol vehicle and even confronted him at work, where he violently destroyed his laptop. Out of fear for his safety, Matthew eventually moved to Washington State to escape Dan. As a result of these actions, Dan was charged with first-degree stalking, aggravated assault, and malicious injury to property. He admitted to some of the charges, but not all, and agreed to pay restitution to Matthew. When Dan was interviewed at his home after Kendi's death, he tried to paint her as unstable, claiming she had previously threatened to harm herself.
Did you ever make any statements that had you concerned about her well-being?
Yeah, about her every day. Well, it's just she's so emotional. She tells her we should split up, and I agree with her, and she'd go the other way. This hitch, last hitch, we were pretty distant, you know. I knew something was up, but
Last month,
yeah, whatever it turned out to be, yeah, pretty distant.
do you suspect she was cheating on you again?
I asked her that. I asked her that to give me closure, because, you know, that would be it. But she said she hadn't been.
You blame it?
Man, her behavior, I don't know. It just doesn't add up. Okay.
What doesn't add up?
She's behaving the same way she was before. And before we made a go, that was pretty good. And she said she didn't want a divorce, or she does want a divorce. It changed about every other day.
He described their marriage as strained due to their long-distance relationship, as Dan worked in Alaska's Prudhoe Bay, spending 3 weeks on and 3 weeks off. In 2014, Dan's career with the Idaho State Police came to an end after he was suspended for his stalking behavior towards Matthew. When law enforcement searched his property, they found thousands of rounds of ammunition that Dan had stolen from the Idaho State Patrol, along with a fraudulent title for his Harley-Davidson motorcycle and a white-tailed deer he had poached without a license. As a result, he was charged in Kootenai and Bonner counties. Dan Howard was sentenced in early 2015 for malicious injury to property, petty theft, title fraud, and failing to tag a deer. He received a sentence of 120 days in jail, 600 hours of community service, and a 3-year probation term with a suspended prison sentence. Despite the turmoil in the Howards' marriage, they had somehow managed to stay together. However, by the time of Kendi's death, it was clear that she had made her decision. She was done with him. On the night of her death, Dan claimed that an argument about the divorce had pushed her over the edge. He said Kendi became deeply upset when he insisted they include the Kamaya house in the division of their assets, even though she had made the offer on the house herself. Dan explained that Kendi had the gun because she had asked him to retrieve it from their safe a few days earlier, so it could be part of their asset division.
She went and put earnest money on a house while I was up on the slope down there. Texted me once that she was going to go see an attorney. She saw the attorney a day before I got in, and then she had those papers. And I tried to talk her out of it. Let's talk first. Well, she didn't. And so, since I've been here, we've been just going back and forth. You want to make it work? Okay, I'll encourage you to make it work. If you don't want to make it work, I'm encouraging you to still make it work. I couldn't see throwing 27 years away. But then, you know, I'm the one that filled out the papers, and I'll give her what she wants, if that's what she wants. And then she will do everything 50-50, okay. That includes the flipping house down there. Wait.
So obviously you're wanting to make things work here, and she's.
I'm trying to encourage her.
And she's telling you, you're not hearing me. I want the house and to change.
Okay.
It's a lot of love that breaks my heart. I'm hurting you.
Yeah, and then she'll come back and go, well, I'm not sure if I want the divorce. And I'll let that count.
The couple's joint assets were reported to total approximately $2 million, while Dan denied that the division of wealth troubled him. Those close to Kendi told police that he was highly focused on money, even questioning her about small debit card transactions as little as $10. Investigators saw the division of their substantial wealth as a potential motive for Kendi's death, and they weren't the only ones suspicious of Dan. As the police processed the scene at Dan's home, he received a phone call from his stepdaughter. Her voice was so loud that the officers could hear her yelling from across the room. They used this moment to confront Dan about his story.
I think you killed your wife. Because I got to tell you, that phone call puts chills down my spine.
People.
You did it, didn't you, Dan?
No, I didn't.
I didn't think so, but now, after listening to that, I think you did, didn't you?
How the hell? She doesn't know. She wasn't here. She knows what.
Well, what does
she knows that there's a divorce going on?
What does she know? She knows something. She wouldn't have reacted the way she did.
Well, I don't know what it is.
Mother, she obviously had concerns if that was her knee jerk.
Okay. Well.
You understand where we're coming from?
Because I had talked to my daughter about that. You think all you want.
I think you did.
No, I didn't.
The condition of Kendi's body revealed that she had fought desperately for her life. The violent struggle left her with a broken jaw, bruises all over her body, lacerations on her feet, and a second-degree burn on her arm. Prosecutors later argued that Dan had asphyxiated Kendi by applying a carotid restraint. This technique involves placing an arm around the victim's neck to cut off blood flow to the brain, rendering the victim unconscious in a matter of seconds. Investigators believe that Dan then removed Kendi's clothing and moved her lifeless body into the bathroom, where he filled the bathtub, placed the gun in her mouth, and pulled the trigger. The gun was found in the water with her. The bullet's downward trajectory suggested it wasn't a self-inflicted wound, as gunshot wounds from self-harm usually have an upward or horizontal path. Additionally, the lack of blood at the scene supported the theory that the gunshot wound occurred post-mortem. It wasn't until 2 years after Kendi's death that Dan was formally charged with her murder. A year later, as his trial progressed, he was arrested at Spokane International Airport for violating his release conditions, which prohibited him from coming within 2 miles of the airport. In March of 2024, Dan Howard was convicted of second-degree murder and domestic battery. At his sentencing, Dan continued to deny that he was responsible for Kendi's death.
I stand before you, shell of a man. Hell, I don't even have a shell on. My wife took her life. My will to live went down significantly. And when the jury found me guilty of the crimes I didn't do, went down even further.
The judge highlighted the various factors that contributed to his actions, including jealousy, greed, pride, anger, and a desire for revenge. Dan was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole and an additional 10-year sentence for domestic battery, which would be served concurrently. This is the end of our video. Don't miss out on the next one. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell for more chilling true crime stories that will keep you on the edge of your seat.